don't bring it up much, but I should bring it up at every meeting. I was on between, I don't know, 10 medications or more. I had all the major type 2 diabetes, heart disease, all of these problems. And went to the doctors, the experts, they told me, have more of this, have more of this. Also, I'm a registered pharmacist, but the training I got and the other medical professionals are supported by the big industries, right? Where do you think it comes from? The cure to it is another pill. Meanwhile, it's the food that's the problem. And the way you know that, do the research on the internet around the world. And you'll see a lot of countries that eat very healthy don't have. They'll put a cardiologist out of business, right? That's a heart doctor, whatever it is. All of these things and all of these problems also, besides in the type 2 diabetes, they have very rare. Today in our society, the maturity onset diabetes is only the older people, guys that got older. Now the children get it. They're going to have to change the name because the children are getting that disease caused by the food. All this garbage in the food is causing all these problems. Again, the way I know it, and I could testify to when you look around the world where they eat healthy, is again, I was on 2 medications for the type 2 diabetes. I was on 2 or 3 for the high blood pressure. I was on all of these other medications, cholesterol, whatever it was. Now if I take my blood pressure, it's like a teenager. I'm on 0 medications. There's one doctor I watch on the internet, and he said, he has a sign in his office. He said it was the food. It was the food all the time. The food is what's causing major amounts of problems in all the autoimmune diseases, all of these things. And I'm not talking from nowhere, because when people start eating a healthy diet, a lot of these ailments go away. Psychologically too, we feel better. The body's rebelling against all of these things. To tell you how miraculous the body is, look no further than when you cut on your finger. Look at how it miraculously heals. Our body has that ability to heal itself. But if we keep on putting garbage in and irritating it, also like if you had a cut and you kept on irritating it, it wouldn't heal right. So the same with the body. The body needs the nutrients and the food and the not the garbage. Delicious foods. If we only get away from what the corporations are telling us, a smoothie, it's just totally amazing, And so we can think and have the perception change towards the food. The other way, when you're trying to resist it, you're making the food more thing you're resisting the most, giving it more power, right? If you resist something, you're saying, that's so powerful, I can't deal with it. I got to fight it. So we have in here an 10-step promise to stop fighting anyone or anything. Now, the topic really is here celebrating failures. But, if we dwell on the failures, I do 10 things in a day. 9 of them are good. And the one thing that I didn't do right, I could dwell on. It's interesting. I had sort of just to touch upon a little bit, like in the big book on page 101, it talks about, they say the man could go to the Greenland ice cap, and even there's an Eskimo might turn up with a bottle of scotch. So the other way just doesn't work. When we're trying to keep away so we can keep away and we go up into the Greenland ice caps, it's still not going to work. We need the perception change. Everything's about perception in life. And how do we know that? Because why are people 30, 40, 100 pounds heavier than they were years ago? Because we had the perception change negatively. The corporations told us how to. Do you want to believe them? The falseness of all of that? When we get scented, we'll intuitively know the answer. All of that chemicals and processed food and junk, the high caloric salt, oil, and sugar, and the hydrogenated oils and sugars and everything, we'll intuitively know that's garbage. Our body knows. What does our body do? It goes into failure. We're also talking about, the diseases. Again, we could be healthy. But anyway, celebrating failures, that was our topic here. So here we go through life. Take an example of a person in business who's a salesperson, right? Their problem is they have they'll contact, the first person they contact will say no, and that's the end of their career. And by the way, they could be a very personable person, even a great salesperson in all other respects, but because of they can't celebrate the failures, that's where it is. But the way to celebrate is to say they say in sales, every time you get closer to, every rejection brings you closer to a sale. Every rejection says you're learning from it and it brings you closer. So that's why you could celebrate it. So imagine that if you're a salesperson, every time you go somewhere and somebody rejects you, you celebrate it, right? So it's the same directly related to our addictions. So everybody, like I get people will contact me and say, or here on the meeting, I'm such a failure. Yesterday I did this wrong and I did that wrong. And I had too much of this, I obsessed about that. And all of these issues and problems, not realizing the real salvation is just celebrating that. Again, like I said about in sales or anything in life. And also rising above it, we have this celebration where the reason we could celebrate in life is because it's not about what we did yesterday, it's being in the present. What you heard about the fourth dimension it talks about in the book, or the sixth sense. You know, and again, I years ago, I saw this Hasidic rabbi who was into the Kabbalah when I was having all these issues and all these problems. And I went to him, I told him about all the problems of my life, my personal life, all these issues and things. And he says, go out and enjoy the world, but realize the falseness of it. He says, enjoy, have pleasure, but realize everything that you're thinking in this world is false. It's a compilation of what we brought up. Same with the food. We're inundated from little children. It should be illegal, just like they made cigarette smoking, that you put, warnings on the package. But no, when we go to supermarket, even the children's food that's at their eye level has all of these pretty things in the commercials, all these songs, getting us enticed to the food and the poison that's in them. So you want to, give in to the corporations all the money and all all what they have to, for the money they're going to kill you, right? Even look, I just think I ought to be honest with you and tell you all this stuff. Even the committee for the Food and Drug Administration, a lot of them are from the big corporations. Lobbyists, all of that stuff. So you want to be die and be unhealthy because they're inundating you and you're putting these poisons in your mouth. People say, well, I have an allergy to the body. Yes, because these foods, it talks about here, we have an allergy to the body. Obsession of mind leads to the phenomenon of craving. But how could we not help but have an allergy when they put the things in the food to create the allergy? Do you realize the chemicals they put in there? They have scientists and psychologists sit there all day, and they know that will go into the hypothalamus part of the brain that will stimulate the appetite and make you want more. The chemicals, the amount of synthetics in there, and there are 49 ingredients in most foods. If you look on the packaging, and the one main ingredient is what I eat. I don't eat all the other garbage. So look, I always say it's what you put on a food, but if you want to know, I eat a whole food plant-based diet. I mean that all my foods, because people are vegan or whatever, but they eat all this garbage, right? All this chips and bag stuff and whatever you call it. You look at the ingredients, and even now they have the synthetic stuff that's not, meat-based or whatever it is, or protein-based, but it has all the chemicals and everything in it. So when I eat something, we're talking about smoothies. Well, in smoothies, it is a combination, but it's all wholesome one ingredient, whether we were talking earlier about, putting in it the fruit or anything delicious and rewarding. So celebrating failures and, intuitively will know. So the main problem I see with people, and this is the main problem, this is where anybody I see in life and what I observe is that what's holding us in our way is the remorse, shame, and guilt. That goes back to the defects of character, the ego.